It's me. Hi everyone, welcome to the show, or the closet. Haven't been one of these in a while. Gay joke. So today we're going to talk about queerness, because one thing about me, I love women. Ugh, gorgeous, fairy, majestic, ethereal beings with big boobies and pretty hair. But you know what else I love? Men. Stinky, dirty, little stupid men. God, I love them. If sexuality was a choice, I wouldn't choose men. That was mean and I'm sorry. You guys are safe here. A lot of my trauma has been at the hands of men, and sometimes I lash out. We've all been affected by the patriarchy. My bad. I love you. That's been established. Can't get enough of you. Anyways, before we get too far into the subject, let's see what the cards have to say for us today, shall we? Ooh. Okay, first of all, the card is rainbow. Gay. Setting clear boundaries is an act of self-love. So true. Not only is it an act of self-love because you're protecting yourself, it's also an act of love for the person you're setting a boundary with. Sometimes it feels like boundaries are like this mean thing to do, but you really only set boundaries with people that you want to continue to have a relationship with. So if somebody is setting a boundary with you, know that that probably means they love you very much and they want to maintain a healthy relationship with you. And vice versa. Don't be hard on yourself about setting boundaries, because it's for the betterment of everybody. I just got through the holiday season and it's not always an easy time for people, and boundaries were being set. But hey, boundaries are beautiful, right? Okay, so queerness. When did I come out? I don't know if I ever really had some big coming out for myself. I always knew that I was into the ladies. I mean, my sexual awakening was watching the Christina Aguilera, Dirty music video. She was on the chair with another girl. It was a whole thing for me. But then years later, High School Musical and Zac Efron did things to me as well. So I knew that I was I was one for the people. For the most part, it was never really a secret. I think I came out to my best friend and I was like, I like girls, right? And she was like, yeah, duh. So I don't think it was a thing. When I came out to my family, I was currently in a heterosexual presenting relationship. So they were a little confused, I think, on why I came out, but they handled it pretty well. Coming out as bi, or I like to identify as pan, wasn't really the hard part. The hard part was actually coming out as polyamorous. I did not realize how taboo this title was. I mean, I've actually always felt the way that I do in regards to relationships, but I want to broaden your horizon of polyamory a little bit, because it's not what you think. This is how I like to explain it. You know how you can love your friends on a very deep level, and that doesn't take away from the love that you have for your partner, and they're kind of different, but they're both love. I mean, we are essentially all polyamorous simply because of that statement. We can all love multiple people, and I just choose to really sit with that label because I just really like it. And I don't know, I'm a big labels girl. I'm kind of a rebel at heart. I love to challenge conventional ideas and societal belief systems. And in some ways, I think that's what being non-binary is about. I'm not non-binary, so I can't actually really speak on it. But what I've noticed with a lot of my friends who are non-binary, they come from a place of just not wanting to conform to these rules and standards that were placed on them. I can be whatever I want. I don't have to fall into your weird rule book. I think that's honestly a lot of the driving force behind that ideology. And I feel similar about polyamory. I don't believe in locking down someone and just especially it's not just about sex for me, but it's just, there's so many relationships that fall apart because of somebody pursuing an external connection. I think that that's sad, because we are only given one life, and why should you limit the amount of love that you get to experience? At the same time, I'm still a very traditional person. I want to get married. I want to have a person. I want to I believe in the other half. I think in some ways I've always thought that I was polyamorous simply because I just have so much love to give, and it always has just seemed too much for one person. But hey, maybe I'll find that person that actually matches the amount that I have to give out. Maybe that person's out there for me, but I'm not holding my hope to that. Or what I've noticed is I don't even need that necessarily. There's so much love in my life, and there's so much love that I can experience. And I believe in allowing my partner the same freedom, because I would hope that they don't feel like they own me as a person. I think relationships go through ebbs and flows. And I think acknowledging your inherently polyamorous life or views can save you from like future hurt. Because I'll tell you, I actually did get cheated on, but like I don't even know if I got cheated on. This has been, oh my God. You know when you're healing something and all of a sudden it like keeps coming up for you like over and over again? This has been coming up for me a lot, and it's kind of pissing me off, but maybe I'll just get it off my chest. Both of the involved parties in the cheating scandal, one was my friend and one was my boyfriend at the time, they both deny that anything happened. And I honestly, a small part of me believes that nothing like physical or like sexual happened between them. But if I told you the whole story about the photoshopped messages and the secret sleepovers and stuff, you would think I'm so stupid for believing that. And that's kind of the point. Like it's not actually even, it's the lying, it's the betrayal, it's the going behind your back, the loss of trust. That is what destroys relationships for me. And I feel like if we just had a safer space for people to express how they just feel all the time without it threatening the depth of your connection with someone, I just feel like a lot of people would be happier in relationships, because we all have crushes on other people and we still love and deeply are committed to our partner. I choose not to sleep with other people. I want a partnership that's based on like mutual choice, mutual desire. I want somebody to want me as much as I want them, and they just like literally like hanging out with me. They literally like building a life with me. That's the type of relationship that I want. I don't believe in obligation or, well, I mean, I kind of do. I'm like a committed person. I'm like a really deep, like, I'm a wifey, you know, if I'm being totally honest. I give like major daddy energy sometimes, but I want it to come from a place of like desire, because I want to do that for people. Like I want to love people if they'll let me. I recently called my sister and I was complaining about dating, because I went on this like dating adventure recently where I'm like opening up my heart to things. I'm not enjoying it personally. I'm such a like click instantaneous. I like pick people. I'm like, I want you. But I was talking to her about how I was feeling like so kind of unfulfilled with these surface level connections, because I was trying to like casually date. I was trying to just be a little bit more chill. And she was like, isn't that what polyamory is? And I was like, oh my God, I know. That's what they all do. They all just casually date. It's so chill and casual. And I don't know what to do because I don't like it. I hate it. And we were giggling because I was just like, I'm such a bad polyamorous person. And I have friends, you know, if you watched my ex-lovers video with Alicia, we were joking about how she's like a way better dater, even though she's like a cis, like monogamous, hetero girl. I'm the poly pan queer lady, and I like can't even focus on more than one person at a time. I don't value like surface level things in a romantic way. I like deep expressions of love, I think, more than anything. The thing that my friends give me that I love so much is, you know, we will tell each other just how grateful we are for each other and how beautiful our relationship. Oh, can you believe we've been friends for this long? And like, wow, I just love you so much. You're so special to me. And like those moments in friendship are they're so special to me. And I have to admit, like, I don't think I've ever really had a romantic partner match me in that way. Every person I've ever loved, I have poured my heart out to them and like shared my feelings and be like, oh my God, you're just like so wonderful. I love you so much. And I don't think that I've ever had a person come to me and just confess their deepest desires and like love for me. You know, like I've had people tell me they like me and stuff. I know this episode is supposed to be about like my queerness, but it ended up sort of transitioning into more of like my ways of connecting with other people, which I think is sexuality at its core. And really like the goal of this is to inspire you to embrace the natural way that you connect with people, because I've tried really hard to change mine and I just can't. I just click with people on an instant level. I might be a big lover, but I'm not a very frequent lover. I've had like 6, maybe 7 crushes in my entire life. And I keep a really tight circle around me because I've experienced a lot of like emotional abuse. And it's important for me to have like people around me that take it upon themselves to care about my emotional safety. That's like really my non-negotiable, because I just care so much about theirs. So I just want to be met with the same respect in return. And I'm starting to notice that is like really what makes me feel attracted to someone, like on a deeper level past the initial, like, wow, I just love you as a person. That's the thing that makes me want to like choose to stick around with somebody, because I can really love people. I love people, but I love me more. And I could love so much about somebody, but if they can't meet the inherent needs that I have, it's just, I love me more. I gotta like, I can't exist in spaces where things don't feel right. I kind of want to share some like hot goss with you. I don't always love to open up about my personal life when it involves like other people, because I'm the one who signed up for an online career, not the people in my life. But I think there's a way to do it while respecting people's privacy. So do me a favor, whenever I'm talking about like my experiences with other people who have maybe wronged me, let's give a little bit of compassion and reminder that there's two sides to every story. I'm a human, they're a human, it's all good. But let me tell you about some motherfuckers. So there's two people that I really like, and I was kind of casually seeing them. And during this experience, I sort of realized I really want like a partner. I'm like ready to have like some love in my life. I have like a lot to give. And I expressed this because I think it's important to share that. So I expressed this to both people, and the different reactions, or like the way that these two conversations went, could not have been more different. One of them was incredibly loving and accepting and like made me feel really safe. And I'm still seeing this person because they weren't really afraid of my expressions, and they were able to vocalize like what they can give. And it was just like very clear and safe and like all good. But then the other conversation went the way that a lot of these kinds of conversations have gone for me in the past, which is like this huge fear around my like expression of feelings. And I get why people get so scared of like, because I will tell you how I feel. Like, I'm not shy about that. It's just who I am. I've always been like that. And that scares the crap out of people, because I think they think all of us, they feel the pressure. And I try to be receptive to the type of kind of conversation and expression that people can handle. I try not to like scare people off, but I do just inherently sometimes, because people have different needs, and some people don't need that kind of deep expression of emotional depth and communication, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. The point is, it has scared a ton of people, and they kind of see me as something a little different. I think a lot of times people assume I can't handle my feelings. I've had multiple people say to me in the past, like they've actually like told me that my feelings are wrong. Like, no, you don't feel like that. Or like, you don't even know me kind of thing. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, am I supposed to feel differently? Like, my bad. I'll just change how I feel. It just doesn't work like that. And that's really what I'm trying to get across with all of this. It's okay to want and to need whatever you want, whether it's cringy or not, because you're never going to be able to change it. If you are monogamous as hell, you are monogamous as hell. If you are straight as hell, you are straight as hell. I mean, it's like a spectrum. There are people who are like super straight, and there are people who are like super gay, and there's just all of us in between. Like, it's just, we are who we are. And I hope you know that it's okay to be like that. And regardless whether you fit in the stereotype or not, that's also okay. Because I bet you're thinking, based on those two conversations, one was a woman and one was a man, which one do you think was afraid of the commitment? Well, I bet your first thought was probably the man. Surprise, surprise, you're wrong. It was actually the other way around. Because not everybody falls into those stereotypical boxes. Sex traits and like human traits, they vary. You even see it like amongst men and women. Like some guys can grow a huge beard, some guys can't. Some women have like huge boobs, some women don't. Some people are literally born with both sets of genitals. Like, we are all very complex. Sometimes these like rule books, even within the like queerness, make me feel not queer enough, because I'm thinking I'm polyamorous, right? I'm thinking I'm so casual, but it turns out I'm just not really like that. This thing that I'm seeking, this like casual, like I love everyone kind of, I don't know, this surface level thing of what I thought polyamory was, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel fulfilled. I want like somebody to just like, I want somebody to pour their heart out to me. I want somebody to love me the way that I can love them, because I just have so much love to give. And I think it's a beautiful quality of mine, and I'm not going to give it up. It doesn't negate my labels or the way that I identify. I think sometimes people get so consumed with their like queerness because they feel like they need to have had an experience to confirm it. There's been a big rise of previously thought to be straight women noticing that they have some urges. Hopefully the same thing will happen for men, because I think most people are a little queer. It doesn't matter. You can have preferences. Like, of course, I fucking love men, okay? Listen, I'm still just a girl who loves boys, okay? That is why I really like the term pansexual, because I feel like I just fall in love with people's energy. It's never like a thing. It's never really a shallow thing. I mean, I think hot people are hot, but I think beauty is very defined in a million different ways. We all have like desires and kinks and weird parts of ourselves. And if it was just a little bit more loving and open and less judgy, like if they're unsafe, that's a different thing. And you need to deal with that in the way that you feel is right. But for the most part, it's just harmless human pleasure experiences, I love love. I learn so much from love. I learn so much from connection. And I'm realizing that I'm kind of okay with like needing this depth because honestly, okay, on this journey of like figuring out the type of connections that I want and realizing that maybe I'm not this like super chill poly girl, I'm wondering if I might be demisexual. And this is a term I've heard before. If you hate labels also, whatever. I like labels. I find them helpful. They help me find like clarity. I think in a lot of ways they help me understand what's going on with myself. I just like to understand. I get really uneasy when I don't have answers for things, and I just like clear stuff. And sometimes labels help me just like find more clarity about myself. I'm not stuck to any of them. I can let go of them or add more whenever I want. But demisexual sounds like a fun new one. It's basically the idea that you can't really like get very you can't really like turn on sexually unless you're emotionally connected to said person. And I could see that for myself for sure, but I never really thought that way because truthfully, I always thought those were two very separate things. There was like emotional intimacy and then there was physical intimacy, but I'm starting to notice that they're a lot more intertwined for me. And I'm like having this issue. This is too much info. If you know me or if you're my parent, please just fast forward like 3 minutes because I'm going to talk about 6. I've been having this issue ever since that thing happened with my ex and my friend. I haven't been able to like get to the finish line with anyone. I even have trouble by myself. And I think it's a trust issue. I think it's like this is really what's making me think that maybe I'm like demisexual. I don't know. I've had some friends tell me it might be like a mental block. Something kind of broke in me when that happened. Like I've always known that I was somewhat of a naive person, but I kind of thought it was like a cute quality of mine. I never really assumed that anybody would use it against me. So that was weird, especially from somebody that you love so much and somebody that loves you. Like, it's not always conscious. Well, anyways, the point is I can't get there and I really want to. And recently I've gotten so fucking close, unbearably close enough that I'm like, oh yeah, that happened, I think. But if it's like, if I'm like, I don't know, I don't think it counts, it's not, It's like taking a really long chairlift up to the top of a mountain and then just like skiing down a little like bunny hill. Not even, like it's like, boom. It's frustrating because I just want to have a good time. And I'm having like a great time. I'm having a great time. I think I feel fulfilled. I mean, I want more in my life. I don't really know how I show up in relationships anymore. I'm going through like a whole transformation, and there's some things that I know for sure. I know that I'm queer. I know that I like people of all kinds. I know that I don't want to be owned by my partner. I know I want my freedom in a relationship. And I think I know that I need like emotional connection. I need that. I don't know, there's a lot of pressure in like knowing yourself sometimes, especially as you get older, and I'm just constantly learning about myself. Like I change my mind a lot. Usually once I change my mind then I'm there, but then maybe years later I might change it again. Like it's a constant evolution and you're a constant work in progress, and you don't have to conform to any rules. Broaden your horizons to people. I get a lot of hate for being polyamorous. It's so funny to me because at the end of the day, my partner, I just want to meet their needs. If they feel jealous, like we communicate it and we spend more time together. Like there's rules and regulations. There's still like boundaries and respect, and it's not everything is as it seems, and there's a lot of stereotypes, and you have to remember that stereotypes, they exist because it's same thing with the gender spectrum. A lot of us do fall into the men and women category. I feel pretty androgynous, but I feel like a woman. I know that I feel like a woman in my core, in my soul. But there are people who just don't feel like that, and it's just important to respect the way people feel and desire and want to show up. The bedroom is our own little like sacred place. You can do whatever you want in it, as long as it's safe and consensual, That was kind of a fun little dirty episode. Well, guys, thank you so much for opening your mind up with me today. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and others, okay? I love ya. Goodbye.